Alright, my first 10-minute video never got saved. I have no idea why. So let's try this again. This is an attempt to educate anyone who finds themselves with one of these devices in their car for whatever reason. I'm going to give you the do's, the don'ts, the what fors, how to avoid added expense if you're doing your best to comply. I'm not talking to the people who are drinking and driving. I'm talking to everybody else who has one of these or has to get one of these. This is the Intoxalock device. There's a camera here and there's a device here. It goes into your ignition somehow, I don't care. And you must use this to drive or start your car. So I've just walked out to my car. You can put the keys in the ignition if you'd like. The next thing you do is push this big black button right here. Look what it's doing now. If you can't see it, it's saying clearing. Now it says blow. Pay attention. All you have to do, one big one out, two big ones in, and three big ones out. Don't take your mouth off here and don't take a breath. So, it didn't work because I didn't do it right. Well, I must be nervous for the video. Hit the button again. It's clearing. I've done this several thousand times over the last 16 months. Keep blowing until it buzzes and it vibrates and you'll get an okay. That means you've got a valid test. It's testing. Blood alcohol content, BACOOO. Now it'll say you've passed. Next thing it'll do, it'll tell you to start your car. Start your car. You have exactly 2 minutes. You're down to 151 to get your car started, or you have to retest. So this is pretty simple. Everybody knows how to start a car, I hope. Car starts. See that? It's running. Now, if you would turn your car off for whatever reason, turn your car off. You don't have to re-blow if you restart your car within 2 minutes. If it's going to show you what it's supposed to do. It didn't do the countdown yet, but I know what will happen. It'll start counting down and you'll have 120 seconds to start your car without a retest. Now, what happens next? When you're out driving around, sometime in the 9 to 10 minute window, it's going to go off again. They recommend you pull over, do the same thing. Look, I was a commercial driver forever. Despite my indiscretions, I've got over 2 million accident-free miles in 30-some years of driving. So I don't pull over. When it goes off, I hear it. Hopefully the music's not so loud I don't hear it. I know it's going to happen. And I'll be going down the road. When it says retest, 1 out, 2 in, 3 big breaths out, it'll vibrate like it did when you started. Set it down. I keep driving. I know in a few seconds it's going to test me. It's going to say passed. And I'll just keep driving. Now, I did not know for sure because I don't take long trips. I deliver. I'm in and out, back and forth, stop and go, all that. Turn the car off sometimes, let it idle sometimes. In about an hour, if you do a non-stop trip, it's going to go off again. What it's trying to make sure what it's doing is making sure you're not some knucklehead that, okay, I tested, I'm going on a trip to the beach or I'm going long distance, now I'm going to start pounding my alcohol. It's going to catch you, so don't do that. I mean, if you're that desperate to drink, well, you've got a bigger problem than an Intoxalock. Next, what do I want to talk about next? What we're trying to do here is avoid what's called a lockout. Or you don't want to spend extra money if you're trying to comply because you could get an incorrect reading. Those happen. Here's some things you don't want to do because it will trigger an incorrect reading. Oh, by the way, when you first blow, if you're on a heart-lung machine and if you're not physically fit, you're probably not going to be able to do this. And, I'm a 60-year-old smoker. I'm a windbag, so I don't have any problem taking a deep enough breath to make this happen. Now, what will trigger an incorrect reading? There's several things. One big one is mouthwash. If you've got a habit of brushing your teeth with mouthwash, don't do it. If you do that, you're going to trigger a blood alcohol content, sometimes even in the stratosphere. Number 2, don't eat certain spicy foods. I've had an incorrect reading with jalapeno peppers, barbecue pizza. It doesn't stay there for long, but it can trigger an incorrect reading. Number 3, if you go into a public restroom, they have the hand soap, or you go to a porta pot, don't do this if you wash your hands. It'll pick up the alcohol in that and trigger an incorrect reading. Last but not least, if you're really a renegade and you insist on NA beer, don't count on it giving you a clean reading, because it might not. That actually happened to me. Long story short, it's supposed to be 0.00, less than 0.005 percentage. Don't count on that. Don't take the chance. It's not worth it. Now, what happens if you get an incorrect reading and you know it's incorrect? You don't need to freak out. First of all, you have 10 minutes to retest and blow under the limit, or hopefully 0.000, where you're not going to have a lockout fee and you're not going to have to call Intoxalock. And the NVA is not even going to care in the end, because they're going to get the data every month that you blew clean within 10 minutes. You know, if you're full, you forget, and you do mouthwash. I blew 0.152 with mouthwash one time. I had 10 minutes to retest. I'm freaking out. I'm eating crackers. I run in the house. I know I got to retest in 3 minutes. I'm smoking a cancer stick, which I hardly ever inhale, and I'm sucking it down like a joint would. One of you potheads would with pot. And then 3 minutes later, I retested. It had dropped to 0.05 something or other, which is still over a violation. 3 minutes later, it tested 0.012. I was able to start my car and get to work. When I got to work, it was 0.00. You can get incorrect readings. I don't want to see anyone pay Intoxalock more than they're entitled to. If you get locked out, that's $85, bang. That's in addition to what you're paying every 2 weeks for the lease on that device, which works out to about $106 a month, because the 1 week it's 54, the next 2 weeks it's 51, and then every 28 days you got to drive into the shop that installed the device. They take the device off, they put it on a computer, they download all your tests for the month. There's another $25. So it's not cheap. But if you got in trouble, that's, you know, you deserve it. You got one on your car, you got to get through it. And I don't want to see you piss away money when you're trying to comply. I think I covered about everything. Here, let me, I've been idling for a while. It should go off any minute, but I want to keep this video under 10 minutes. And if you have any questions, you know, I'm not a big YouTube guy. I'm starting to get over on TikTok. I don't answer most people. I don't have the time. But if you have a legitimate question, like and share and all that stuff, tag me. And if I didn't address your concern, I will, eventually. By the way, this device comes off my car tomorrow, and I'm so excited. It's been a handicap for what I do for way too long. So I'll review this. I think I covered most of the possibilities here. Yeah, if I miss something, it's way out there, and it probably won't ever happen to you. It only happens to me category. And then you'll have to call Intoxalock and get some advice. And, if you do get a violation that you knew was wrong, when the data goes to the Motor Vehicle Administration, if you have the hotline for the reinstatement or the Intoxalock unit, they'll pull that data if you call them and have them review it, and it won't be a violation. You don't want to have violations because it extends your agreement, and then eventually you get kicked out of the program. Most states, if you have 3 violations in 12 months, you're back to walking. It's that simple. There's a moth in here. All right, have a good evening.